Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. I'm David Mensa, Israeli government spokesman. Apologies for the slight delay as we have some breaking news for you in the last couple of moments. This Tuesday, the 27th of August, day 326 of the October 7th war. First, this breaking news just cleared for publication. Today, Tuesday, the IDF and ISA rescued the hostage Kiad Farhan al-Qadi, age 52, from Rahat, an Israeli Bedouin Muslim citizen of Israel, who was abducted by the Hamas terror organization into the Gaza Strip on October the 7th. Kiad Farhan al-Qadi was rescued by our elite forces in a complex operation in the southern Gaza Strip. No further details can be published due to the considerations of the safety of our hostages and the security of our forces and, of course, national security. But I can confirm he's in a stable medical condition and is being transferred for medical checks right now at an Israeli hospital. His overjoyed family has been updated with the details, and the IDF is accompanying them at this crucial moment. Israeli security forces will continue to operate with all means necessary to bring home all of our hostages. This is truly uplifting news for everyone that cares about the lives of our people here in Israel, and I think right-thinking people around the world. Next, let me share with you the latest intel we have on the IDF preemptive strike on Hezbollah rockets and drones that saved the lives of many here in Israel and prevented a dramatic escalation early on Sunday. Directly from the Iranian playbook, 90% of the rockets launched by Hezbollah early on Sunday morning were launched from civilian areas using Lebanese civilians as human shields. I'm talking about civilian facilities such as mosques, schools, and UN sites. During the strike, about 230 rockets and 20 UAV targets were identified crossing into Israeli territory. As the Prime Minister said yesterday and was underlined by the Chief of the General Staff of the Northern Command just today, that Israel's mission in the north is clear: to return the residents of our north to their homes in safety and as quickly as possible. Army Chief of General Staff Herzi Halevi held a joint visit with the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the U.S. Armed Forces, General Charles Q. Brown Jr., as part of the General's visit to our region. Next, on rocket fire that was fired from the humanitarian zone in Khan Yunis in Gaza to Rishon LeZion in central Israel on Sunday, the IDF confirmed that the launcher used to fire the rocket at us was destroyed by our Air Force. It was fired 25 meters. Hamas fired this rocket 25 meters from a school in Khan Yunis. Following the strike on the launcher, secondary explosions were identified, indicating the presence of additional rockets. Over the past day, IDF troops operating in the area of Khan Yunis and the outskirts of Deir al-Balah have eliminated dozens of terrorists and located large quantities of weapons, explosives, AK-47s, and mortar shells. Some of you may have seen that yesterday the IDF released details and photos of Hamas's use of a baby's bedroom in Khan Yunis to store weapons and fight from there. Hamas uses the most vulnerable as human shields. Now an update from COGAT and their work coordinating aid into Gaza on immunizations against polio. We've been giving regular updates here every day. We've told you that 95% plus of Gazans have been immunized against polio. Israel is working with the World Health Organization and UNICEF, but not with UNRWA, who are, of course, a front for Hamas. COGAT has secured the arrival of a further 1.3 million more vaccines into Gaza, and COGAT has secured the entry of refrigeration equipment designated to carry the polio vaccines across Gaza, along with other necessary vaccine equipment for Gazans. In the coming days, International and local medical teams will vaccinate children who have not yet been vaccinated against polio at various locations in Gaza. The vaccination campaign led by the WHO and UNICEF will be coordinated with the IDF through COGAT as part of the routine humanitarian pauses that will allow the population to reach the medical centres where Gazans can receive these vaccinations. And our daily reminder that the contents of around 500 trucks worth of aid is waiting to be collected from the Gazan side of the Kerem Shalom crossing. About 420 of them are UN aid. Since the beginning of this war, more than 47,000 trucks have delivered more than 921,000 tons of humanitarian aid into Gaza. That's more than £2 billion worth of humanitarian aid that we've facilitated into Gaza since the start of this war. That's 80% more food compared to prior to October the 7th. So that's the end of our briefing today. I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat of this Zoom together with your news outlet. Thank you very much. First question here is from Robbie Corey-Boulet from AFP, Agence France Press. Just scroll down a little bit. There we go. How was Khalid Farhan al-Qaidi's release rescue secured? What details can you provide? And what are the prospects of other hostages being freed in a similar manner? Thank you for that question, Robbie. We gave aspects of the securing of our hostage just in the beginning of this briefing. I shared with you some of the details there. Our elite forces secured his rescue in a daring rescue, a complex mission, the details of which will be forthcoming very, very shortly. But as I mentioned right in the beginning of this brief, this has just been cleared for publication in the last few minutes alone. His family have been informed. They're absolutely delighted, and he has been taken. He's classed as in a stable medical condition. He's an Israeli Bedouin Muslim from Rahat, a valued Israeli citizen, and we are absolutely delighted, All Israelis and I think all right-thinking people will be absolutely over the moon for Israel having had secured his release. We need to bring all of our people home one way or another, through diplomacy or through these daring missions from the IDF or through military action. We will bring all of them home. That is the pledge the Prime Minister has made, and it's the pledge which all of Israel's population is signed up to. Next question here is from Jim Williams from Zenga International News. According to US Air Force General A.C. Brown, the recent exchange of fire between Israel and Hezbollah may have helped to decelerate the aggressive actions of Iranian proxies. Is the Prime Minister of the opinion that the preemptive actions taken by the IDF were indeed aimed at slowing further aggression from Iran and its proxies? Thank you very much for that question, Jim. Well, look, first things first, the actions of the Prime Minister and the Defence Minister and the Chief of Staff of our Army and of our IDF were designed to save the lives of Israelis. That's what they were designed to do. These missiles and drones were primed to be launched, and with a few minutes to spare, our IDF bravely and expertly and precisely in 40 different locations, many of them in civilian areas, next to schools, next to mosques, even next to UN centres, held a phenomenal action to remove this threat and preempt this strike against Israel, which would have killed thousands. That's without talking about the tremendous damage to our people in the north and the centre of our country. Now look, we are determined to continue degrading Hezbollah's capabilities, eliminating more commanders and denying them assets and capabilities. We are not stopping for a moment. Hezbollah has other capabilities, and the mission is not yet complete. The Prime Minister's made that clear yesterday. And our mission here in Israel is clear: to return the residents of the north to their homes in safety. The IDF is operating around the clock to achieve this. We are determined to bring the residents of our north safely back to their homes as quickly as possible. The IDF is operating on all fronts with tremendous determination, tremendous professionalism and dedication to protect the citizens of our country. Lebanon and the Hezbollah terrorist organization, which operates under the guidance of Iran, are responsible for the escalation of the security situation in our north in violation of international law and UN Security Council resolutions 1559 and 1701. Thank you for that question, Jim. Next question from Joel Pollock at Breitbart News. Can you comment on the significance of the fact that the rescued hostage is a Bedouin Arab, Muslim citizen of Israel? What does this do for the unity in Israel and for Israel's international image? Thank you very much for that question, Joel. Each of our, until today, 109 remaining hostages, now 108, are dear to us, no matter what their religion. That is what Israel is all about. Yes, of course, we are a homeland for the Jewish people, but our Declaration of Independence makes absolutely clear, signed in 1948 by our first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, we are re-establishing this country after 3,000 years of attachment to this land as a homeland for the Jewish people. Yes, of course, but always living in peace with the people that live here, no matter what their religion, no matter what their background. If they want to live in peace with us, then we are delighted, we are honored to live in peace with them. All of the citizens here, whether Bedouin, Muslim, Christian, and Jewish, are valued members of our society, and we make no discrimination whatsoever between them. We are extremely proud of that fact here in Israel, and all of us, I think, here in Israel are absolutely over the moon that we have released, that we have secured the release of this hostage. It's amazing news. It happened just literally a couple of minutes. We were able to talk about it before we came on air, and I'm delighted to share that with you now. Our mission is very, very clear. We want to get all of our hostages home. We want to make sure that Hamas is destroyed militarily and its civil governing capabilities. And of course, we don't want to be here in another 18 months' time. The reality of October the 6th will not be the reality after this war. We will ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to this country. Next question here is from Hannah Julian at the Jewish Press. There are reports that some Israeli authorities say the polio vaccines delivered to Gaza will make the situation worse, not better, and will spread the virus in Gaza and in Israel as well. What can you tell us about this? Thank you very much for that question, Hannah. That's a question for Kogat. We've been giving you daily updates of our objective to ensure that in addition to the 95% plus of Gazans which are vaccinated, that the other Gazans receive that vaccination. I will remind you, of course, that none of these issues, not one of these issues, would have been present if Hamas had not invaded our country on the 7th of October. The blame for this war lies at the leadership of Hamas, those which we have already taken out, eliminated, and of course Sinwar, who remains at large. But no one should be in any doubt. They are responsible for this war, for the suffering which they have brought upon Gazans people, for any problems which currently exist. Gazan kids will be ready to go back to school around about now. Okay, there could be in educational institutions, life could be continuing. We've been always trying to improve the situation of the ordinary Gazans, not Hamas members, ordinary Gazans. It is Hamas which has caused this war, and it is Hamas which is responsible for this, for the destruction there, and it is Hamas who we will destroy in order to provide a better life for ordinary Gazans. We are literally liberating Gaza from Hamas for the betterment of ordinary Gazans and, of course, for our own people as well. Next question from Fred Ager and it's a quote here. Farhan al-Qadi's return home is nothing short of miraculous. However, we must remember military operations alone cannot free the remaining 108 hostages who have suffered 326 days of abuse and terror. A negotiated deal is the only way forward. Close quote. This is from the Hostage Families Forum in a statement released moments ago. What's your response to the Hostage Families Forum? Thank you very much for that question, Fred. Firstly, we have made our war aims clear. It is to bring home our 108 remaining hostages. All of our people want that. 9 or 10 million people living here. There's wall-to-wall support for that objective, and that is precisely what we are doing through diplomacy, but also through military means. It's clear that Hamas only take these negotiations seriously when they're under military pressure. We know that to be true. That was true in November, and that managed to secure 100 of our hostages. All of us here understand that fact, and we want to bring all of our people home in common with the Hostage Families Forum and all Israelis and families of our dear hostages who have suffered terribly in last almost 11 months now. Next question is from Joel Pollock at Breitbart News. Additional question. There are reports that al-Qaeda escaped Hamas custody before he was rescued. Can you confirm? Thank you very much for that question, Joel. At the start of our briefing here today, I shared with you the details of the amazing release of al-Qadi. It's a phenomenal development. Let me share with you again, as it was just cleared for publication. Look, the IDF and the ISA rescued our hostage, Qaid Farhan al-Qadi. He's age 52 from Rahat, an Israeli Bedouin Muslim who was abducted by the Hamas terror organization into Gaza on October the 7th. Qaid Farhan al-Qadi was rescued. He was rescued by our elite forces. He was rescued by our elite forces in a highly complex operation in the southern Gaza Strip. We haven't got any more details to share with you because of public considerations, the safety of our hostages. Lives literally hang in the balance, and of course the security of our forces and national security. But I can confirm that he is, most importantly, in a stable medical condition, and he has been transferred for medical checks at an Israeli hospital. His family, who are overjoyed, has been updated with these details, and the IDF is accompanying them at this joyous time. Our Israeli security forces will continue to operate with all means necessary to bring home all of our hostages. It is our national mission. Our hostages are an open wound in our society. It is our duty to bring them home, and that is precisely what we will do. And no one, believe me, nothing on this earth, no force on this earth will stop us. Thank God that this man is home. Okay, that's the last question I can see here. So in the meantime, thank you for joining us on this uplifting day. We'll have another briefing for you tomorrow at the same time, 3:30 Jerusalem time. Please do stay safe, and thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.